biggest accident after the nuclear weapon explosion. So when we are building reactors, and we can see that many of the wars which are going on right now in the different areas of the world, so there is a possibility that adversary can hit with its missile system or other weaponry system to your nuclear reactors. And if that can happen, so this will be one of the biggest disaster that mankind will see. So here the thing is that whether we should shut down all our nuclear reactors because of this threat, or we should do something else, because many of the thinkers they are suggesting that in this problem we have to shut down the reactors, like Germany have shut down its all of the nuclear reactors right now. So whether we should do this, or we should adopt some other strategy. First and foremost, we have to answer all of these things. That in the era of the war, in the era of the tension in the geopolitics, whether we should pursue the nuclear energy. And we saw the budget of 2025 2026. Madam Nirmala Sitharaman announced that by 2047 we are going to have the 100 gigawatt of the nuclear capacity. Instead of shutting it down, we are approaching nuclear energy very, very rapidly. We are trying to increase our nuclear capability a lot. So, what should be the strategy? Second thing that we will discuss, that will be our nuclear weapon test. In the nuclear weapon test, we will discuss about the test of 1974 Operation Smiling Buddha. Then we will discuss 1998 Operation Shakti. Both the tests were in the Pokhran and in the month of the May. And what was the reaction of the world and what happened after that? Then we will discuss nuclear supplier group. What is the rationale behind the nuclear supplier group and why these people founded nuclear supplier group? Some 20 countries came forward in 1974 and they formed the nuclear supplier group. What was the rationale behind it? And whether India is the member of the nuclear supplier group, and if India is not the member of the nuclear supplier group, then how we can attain the membership, and what is the difficulty that we are facing to attain the membership of the nuclear supplier group, and what can be the benefits by the membership of the nuclear supplier group. All of these things we will discuss. After the nuclear supplier group, we will discuss India's nuclear doctrine. That we adopted after 1998 test, that India will have the no first use policy, and India will have the credible minimum deterrence, and India imposed self moratorium on the nuclear testing. Whether these things were adopted in 2003 officially, but whether anything changed between 2003 and 2020-25, what changed, and whether still this policy is relevant, still India's nuclear doctrine is relevant when Mr. Trump is talking about resuming its nuclear testing, and Russia have renounced CTBT on 2020-23, and in 2026 New START Treaty second is going to be expired between the US and Russia. The treaty was to limit the nuclear arsenal and the warhead delivery, and China is aggressively increasing its weapons stockpile. Whether this no first use, this credible minimum deterrence, and the policy of self-imposed moratorium, it is still valid, it is still relevant. All of these things we are going to discuss in today's class. So let us start with first thing, phase out of the nuclear energy. Now many people suggest that we should shut down all our nuclear reactors because they can behave like a bomb. in the time of invasion. And like we see the tensions when there was Operation Sindoor. So at that time, Pakistan could have hit one of the nuclear reactors, and that would have been a very big disaster because of the leak of the radioactivity. Many of the people would have faced a lot of problems. So whether we should shut down all the nuclear reactors or we should do something else. So if someone is saying that because of this reason we should shut down the nuclear reactors, abhi Ukraine alleged Russia that they have hit the Chernobyl again, the containment structure of the Chernobyl again, and because of that there is leakage of radioactivity. So now the question is that whether we should shut down the nuclear reactors because of these such incidents. And we are sitting between the two adversaries. From the western side, we have Pakistan. From the eastern side, we have China. And the philosophy of Pakistan and China to bleed the India with the 1,000 cuts. So if there will be anything, whether they will lose the chance to hit our nuclear reactors. And if that is the case, if this is their philosophy to bleed the India with the 1,000 cuts, so whether we should shut down the reactors? This is the question. And to answer this question, how we are going to answer this question? What do you think? तुम्हें क्या लगता है? बंद कर देने चाहिए? क्यों? हाँ या ना, उसका कुछ कारण होगा. What can be the reasons? हम renewable यूज कर लेंगे. What is the problem with the renewable? We will not have the blast on the renewables. How, which type of safety we should ensure? चलो तुम बताओ. Renewable energy is sustainable. We will have the renewable energy for next 6 billion years till the time then we'll have the nuclear fission in the core. It is not reliable, you are saying that. Yes, that is the point. तुम बताओ. Weapon नहीं, we are talking about reactors right now. नहीं, भाईचारा तो बनाना बहुत अच्छी बात है. For that we have to destroy all the nuclear weapons of the world. So they are serving their own interest. No, nuclear reactors are not for the interest. They are for the peaceful purposes. They are for generating the electricity, the cheap electricity, reliable electricity, and eco-friendly electricity. नहीं, हम कुछ ऐसा कर सकते हैं क्या कि कोई कंट्री न्यूक्लियर रिएक्टर्स पे अटैक ही ना करे? कुछ ऐसा भी तो कर सकते हैं ना, so that we can have the peaceful and eco-friendly energy. तुम बताओ. बस बात ये है कि इतना कंट्रोल कर लेंगे तो कोई वॉर ही नहीं होगा, कोई किसी के ऊपर अटैक ही नहीं करेगा. ह्यूमन काइंड विल लिव with the philosophy of the peaceful coexistence, and this is the problem with the human being. We don't trust. The problem is that problem with the human beings that we don't trust each other. China and India don't trust with. Problem यही है कि that we are the biggest enemy of ourselves, because there is a threat perception for the human being, that which can be the biggest threat for the human being. It is only the humans, because they have those weapons of mass destruction. They are always engaged in the war because of the some benefit. चलो बात करते हैं step by step. We will talk about this. First and foremost, let me tell you, there is only one country in the world who have shut down all the nuclear reactors. That is Germany. Not in Germany. ठीक है. जापान स्टार्ट कर रहा है ना, जर्मनी कहाँ स्टार्ट कर रहा है? I'm talking about Germany. Germany have shut down all of its nuclear reactor. So now we are talking about India. एक मिनट बेटा, एक मिनट. हाँ, क्या बोल रहे हो आप? अभी अभी बात करते हैं उस बारे में. अभी बहुत comprehensively we will talk about this. So because of the Germany, because Germany has shut down all of its nuclear reactor. That is why this is the question that India should also shut down all the. हाँ बेटा, I am quite good. हाँ, that is why. और जैसे ही तुमने पूछा वैसे ही खांसी आ गई. तो कोई बात नहीं. Thank you. So because Germany have shut down all of its nuclear reactors. That is why this is the question that whether India should shut down, whether India should phase out the nuclear energy. This is the question. So we should compare. We should compare Germany and India. First and foremost, we will compare the geography of Germany and India. Hello? Who is the neighbor of Germany? UK, France. These countries are neighbor of Germany. चलो UK लिख लेते हैं, फ्रांस लिख लेते हैं. Who is the neighbor of India? चलो स्टार्ट करते हैं. पहले तो दो बिगेस्ट एडवर्सरी. पहले तो पूरा सिनो पाक एक्सेस लिख देते हैं. सिनो, इट मींस चाइना. सिनो पाक एक्सेस, दैट इज देयर. पाकिस्तान, China. Then we have Nepal. Then we have Sri Lanka. Then we have Maldives. Then we have Bangladesh. And plus we have Myanmar. We have Myanmar. These, Bhutan, yes, Bhutan also. Plus Bhutan. These are some neighbors of India. All the neighbors of India. अफगानिस्तान को मैंने नहीं लिखा है, अफगानिस्तान भी लिख सकते हैं, बिकॉज यहाँ पे हमारे डिस्कशन में अफगानिस्तान हैज नो रिलेवेंस. वी कैन ऑल्सो राइट द अफगानिस्तान. चलो इसको भी लिख देते हैं, कोई हर्ट ना हो जाए. Obviously Afghanistan is our neighbor. 100 kilometer border we share with Afghanistan, that is in POK, Pak occupied Kashmir. तो बेटा फर्स्ट टू पहले इधर से बात करते हैं. UK and France and Switzerland and some other countries share the border with the Germany. So UK and France and all the border of the Germany is settled right now. They hardly have any border dispute between among themselves. Hardly any border dispute is there. Whatever war was there with the France and with the other countries of Germany, that was before the Second World War or after Second World War. Those war have stopped. And after 1991, when the Berlin Wall fell, after that there is complete harmony. There is complete amicability between the people. So here Germany have the very peaceful borders. There is hardly any dispute between the neighboring countries. So Germany can shut down the nuclear reactor. अभी आगे देखते हैं. Why? Now we have Pakistan, we have China. ये border तो peaceful है ही नहीं. Because China, if you see in the western sector, we have 3 sectors. Western sector, that is Ladakh, and China claim that Aksai Chin is there. Then in the middle sector, they have some incursion. Recently they have some incursion in Uttarakhand also. Then we have the eastern sector. Over there they claim entire Arunachal Pradesh. So that border is not settled, and China even don't want to settle the border. We have started the talk in 1993, then 1996, then 2005, and China don't want to settle the border with India. There are certain reasons. If there is some dispute in the border, because they use the tactics of the salami slicing. Because if they will make some disturbance in the border, then India have to invest a lot of money on those areas, and that money could have been diverted towards the development. China don't want that that India should be developed, that India should become the major power in the South Asia. Chalo, China, Pakistan, we have unsettled border with Pakistan. Then we have Nepal, Kala Pani issue with the Nepal, Sri Lanka, and abhi to Disanayaka is somewhat tilt towards India. But before that, Vikram Singh, they were completely tilted toward China, Xi Jinping, and that person accepted that Hambantota port, and that was completely economically unviable. And because of that, they have to lease that Hambantota port for the 99 years. Hello? श्रीलंका के साथ भी हमारी प्रॉब्लम है. फिर मालदीव्स, राइट नाउ मोहम्मद मोइजू इज इन मालदीव्स. एंड what used to happen in Maldives, whenever the new leader used to be selected, the first visit of that leader used to be in India. But what Moizu did, Moizu's first visit was in China. So he broke the tradition. And it means the relationship with the Maldives, they are also not fair. Then these are some settled border, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Bhutan and Afghanistan, somewhat settled. We have good relationships with right now, if we are talking about the border issues. So here in India, we have a lot of unsettled border. And फिर चलो इनकी बात करते हैं. If there is any energy crisis in Germany, the neighboring countries of Germany, they promised that we will give you renewable energy if you will face any energy crisis. Yes, UK can give the energy, France can give the energy, Switzerland also can give the energy to Germany. But this is no go zone, ये तो देगा ही नहीं, क्यों? तो खुद नहीं है इसके पास. China, he don't want that you should become prosper, you should become developed. तो वो तो एनर्जी देगा ही नहीं, वो काट और देगा. Nepal is dependent on us. Then Sri Lanka, can these neighbors give us the energy security if we are going to shut down the nuclear reactors? No, these neighbors, उनके पास खुद नहीं है, वो कहाँ से देंगे तुम्हें? But German neighbor, they can give the energy security. चलो आगे बात करते हैं. जर्मनी ने न्यूक्लियर रिएक्टर तो बंद कर दिए. Then comes the Ukraine war, or you can say Ukraine conflict, that have been said by both the leaders when Mr. Putin visited recently in Delhi. They did not use the term Ukraine war or war in Ukraine. No, they did not use the term war. They used the term Ukraine crisis. Actually, they used the term Ukraine crisis. Chalo, when our PM is saying that is the Ukraine crisis, we should also use the term Ukraine crisis, because we have very good and historical relationship with the Russia. So we should respect that thing. So let us talk about the Ukraine crisis. When Ukraine crisis was there, for Europe, that was the war against Ukraine. For us, that is Ukraine crisis. Up now, what is how Russian economy moves? Two major things. Petroleum, oil and gas, it means petroleum, and defense equipments. तो यही दो चीजें बेच के तो पैसा आ रहा है उनके पास. अब चलो रसिया की बात करते हैं. क्या है इनके पास? पेट्रोलियम एंड डिफेंस इक्विपमेंट. Petroleum and defense equipments. अब now when there was war, the war started. अब just after some time, winter was about to come. When winter was there, then they faced the problem of the energy crisis, because in Germany in the winters we have very extreme winter, and they warm their houses using the Russian gas, Nord pipeline. Using the Nord pipeline, Russia sent the gas to Germany, and they used to use their gas, they used to buy their gas. Up now, one side Germany is against Russia because of the Ukraine conflict. Another side, Germany had to buy the gas of the Russia, and with that money, what can happen. And those European countries, they were saying to us that India is buying Russian oil, and because of that, India is funding the war in Ukraine. Sir, when you are buying that, your money is not funding the war. Only my money is funding the war. ये तो ऐसा हो गया कि your politician is corrupt and mine corrupt is good. Your corrupt is corrupt, mine corrupt is good. ये तो कुछ ऐसी बात हो गई. मेरा खराब अच्छा है, तुम्हारा खराब बहुत खराब. This is hypocrisy, na? When they said that you are buying the Russian oil and you are funding the war in the Ukraine, sir, you are also funding the war in the Ukraine if this is the scenario. Stop buying gas from Russia. And if you will stop buying gas from Russia, then you will freeze to death because of the extreme climate, because of the harsh winter. So now Germany is dependent on the Russian gas. They don't have the substitute right now. No, they don't have any substitute. Even after criticizing a lot, they had to buy the Russian gas. All the Europe, most of the European countries are dependent on the Russian petroleum. चलो, ये बातें हो गई कुछ ज्योग्राफी की, कुछ बातें हमारी ज्योग्राफी की हो. अब नेक्स्ट थिंग, नाउ लेट अस कंपेयर विद द अदर एनर्जी सोर्सेस. हमने ये देखा कि दैट वी आर सिटिंग बिटवीन द डेविल एंड डीप सी. अल्टीमेटली वी आर सिटिंग बिटवीन द डेविल एंड डीप सी. We are sitting in a very turbulent situation, and Germany is sitting in very peaceful situation. Now next thing, let us talk about other energy resources. If so, in the other energy resources, let us start with the coal. First and foremost, we will compare nuclear energy with the coal. है ना? अभी coal is the conventional energy resources for the purpose of the production of electricity. चलो, in nuclear, here we will have the coal, here we will have the nuclear, here we have the nuclear, coal and nuclear. So if you have to generate 1000 megawatt of the energy, 1000 megawatt of the electricity, you need only 25 tons of the nuclear fuel for entire year. For entire year, with 25 tons of the nuclear fuel, this will run. केवल 25 टन न्यूक्लियर फ्यूल, मतलब 2 ट्रक फ्यूल लेके आना है बस. Only 2 truck of the fuel. And for the same electricity, for entire year, here you know how much coal is required? 5 million tons of the coal. 5 million tons of the coal is required. जहां तक क्लियर है? 5 million tons of the coal is required. When you will burn 5 million tons of the coal, then what will happen? Then there will be emission of carbon dioxide. Here, whether there is any emission in 25 tons of the nuclear fuel, there is no emission. That is why it is one of the least carbon footprint energy resource. And here, not only carbon dioxide, you will also have no oxide of sulfur, oxide of nitrogen. Because of this, you will have the acid rain. You will also have carbon monoxide. And all of these participate in the global warming. All of these participate in the global warming. Just this electricity is cheaper. Cheap electricity is there. You can compare it with the nuclear energy. But another thing that is called base load, that with how much power that your plant can run, nuclear can touch approximately 80% of the base load, and coal can touch hardly 40-50% of the base load. It means if the plant is of 1000 megawatt, so coal plant can produce hardly 500 megawatt. Nuclear can produce approximately up to 800 to 900 megawatt. Then next thing, there was a case study that was done in Sonbhadra and Uttar Pradesh. Sonbhadra in Uttar Pradesh and Singrauli in Madhya Pradesh. Sonbhadra and Singrauli. Sonbhadra is in UP and Singrauli is in MP. Here we have the coal power plants. And every other household is suffering with cancer, leukoderma, endocrine diseases. Leukoderma is white patches on the skin. So sir, it also comes with a lot of diseases. It means real price is paying by those people who are living nearby the coal power plant, and you are saying that shut down the nuclear reactors. They're using the nuclear reactor in the entire world, approximately 10% of the electricity is generated by the nuclear reactors, and because of this every year 1.5 to 2 trillion tons of the carbon dioxide is not released in the atmosphere. If this much of the carbon dioxide is not released in the atmosphere, then it means we are slowing the pace of the climate change. And climate change is the biggest threat that we are facing right now. Global warming, climate change, these are the biggest threat that humanity is facing actually. Not only some countries. Actually, poor countries are facing more issues than the richer countries because they can afford air purifier and these type of things. And the poor person, no, that person cannot afford air purifier. In India, we have approximately 3% of the share in the nuclear energy mix because of the nuclear. You know how much France have share in the nuclear, share in the energy mix of the nuclear? 67%, sir. Total 67% nuclear energy they are using. Rest 33% is the other sources of energy. And हमसे बोल लो कि रिएक्टर बंद कर दें. Then South Korea, approximately 32% is share of the nuclear energy in their energy mix. Then USA and UK, 18%. UK, approximately 12%. Then Japan, where Fukushima happened, approximately 10%, and now they are increasing their share of the nuclear energy in the energy mix because now they are restarting their biggest nuclear power plant of capability approximately 8 gigawatt. और हमसे बोल लो कि इसको बंद कर दें. So these are some benefits. अब हमने बेनिफिट कंपेयर किए, कौन कौन से बेनिफिट मिले हमें. फर्स्ट ज्योग्राफी कंपेयर की, देन वी कंपेयर्ड एनर्जी रिसोर्सेस. पहले हमने कोल कंपेयर किया. लेट अस कंपेयर सम अदर एनर्जी रिसोर्सेस. सोलर, यस, because nuclear and coal, they both were reliable. We could produce the electricity 24/7 because of the nuclear and coal power plants. Solar, first, it is not reliable. We cannot produce electricity 24/7. It is not reliable. Then it is costly. Even after giving a lot of subsidies, the price of the solar energy is approximately 3 to 4 rupees per unit. And you know, the costliest nuclear energy is cheaper than the cheapest solar energy. When we generate electricity in Kulankulam power plant, when it is fed to the grid, the price is only 1 rupees per unit without any subsidy. Here 3 to 4 rupees per unit even after the subsidy. So the statement is that the costliest nuclear energy is cheaper than the cheapest solar energy. How this can replace the nuclear energy? Third, the problem of pollution. Last year in India itself, we have generated 35 million tons of the solar waste that is hardly recyclable. बेटा इसमें सोलर सेल जो है, जिस चीज से सोलर सेल बना हुआ, पूरा सोलर पैनल खराब हो गया, दैट इज सोलर वेस्ट. बैटरी खराब हो गई, lithium ion battery, lithium ion is hardly recyclable. And for the solar energy we need the batteries also, battery storage system. If we want the 24/7 electricity using the solar energy, that is not there, that is not the case, and it is costly. It is also producing some of the waste. Now if you compare with the wind, कुछ पूछ रहे हो? अब वो आगे आएगा, वो आगे आएगा, वो जियो पॉलिटिक्स से पूरी, उस पर बात करेंगे आगे. When we will talk about all the solar missions, then we will talk about that one sun, one world, one grid and International Solar Alliance. That is because of the Russia and China. So बहुत सारा Europe because of the Russia, and for us it is because of the China. We want to counter China using the one sun, one world, one grid, and Europe is trying to counter Russia. If there is one sun, one world, one grid, then they will not be needing to buy the Russian gas. They will kill the Russia. वो आगे हम बात करेंगे डिटेल में. Now let us talk about wind. And sir, हाँ, land. If you want to establish 1000 megawatt of the solar power plant, then you know how much land is required. If in the solar power plant we need 1000 acres of the land, so for the same capacity of the nuclear reactor we need only 100 acre of the land. Only 10% of the land is required in the nuclear reactor. So land कहाँ से आएगी? From where we will have the land? That is also a challenge. कहाँ से इतनी लाएंगे? हर चीज के लिए land for land acquisition में कहाँ से देंगे land? सरकार के पास इतनी जमीन है क्या? Then yes, wind is even costlier, even more land hungry. So these are some comparisons. Hydro, चलो hydro से भी compare कर लेते हैं. तो हाइड्रो वाले गुस्सा हो जाएंगे. What is the problem with hydro? Submergence, tens of the thousand villages submerged, loss of the biodiversity, pain of the displacement, because those people will be forced to leave their place, to leave their gods, to leave their totems. Each and everything will be lost, and hence the identity will be lost. The pain of the displacement, forceful displacement, is the biggest pain in the world. So how we can replace hydro with the nuclear? हर जगह नहीं लगा सकते ना हाइड्रो. चलो ये कंपेयर कर लिया. अब now we have to decide whether we should shut down the nuclear reactors or not. अब ये बात कहां से उठी, मुद्दा कहां से उठा? मुद्दा उठा फुकुशिमा से. When in 2011 in Fukushima we have the accident in the reactor in Japan. Because of that, all of these things are going on, that we should shut down the nuclear reactor. And because of this Fukushima nuclear accident, Mr. Shinzo Abe, the then Prime Minister of Japan, he declared that Japan will not run the nuclear reactors from now on. We are going to shut down all the nuclear reactors. But he was not able to do so. He had to resume the nuclear reactors. What happened in the Fukushima? In the Fukushima, Japan, you know, where is Japan? Japan is in the Pacific Ring of Fire between the different oceanic plates, and in between we have the Pacific plate, that is the denser plate. And in the Pacific Ring of Fire, the earthquake and tsunami, these are kind of daily affair. These are kind of daily affair. मतलब वहां सुनामी ना आए तो पूछ के जाते हैं कि आज अर्थक्वेक महसूस नहीं हुआ, काम पे जाना है कि नहीं जाना है, अर्थक्वेक आ जाए फिर चले जाए. हाँ, तो वहां तो आता रहता है ना, बिकॉज दैट इज इन द पैसिफिक रिंग ऑफ फायर. अब बिकॉज ऑफ दैट, बिकॉज they have the experience of earthquake in their daily activity. That is why their planning for the disaster is so meticulous. One of the best planning for the disaster, one of the best planning for the tsunami, one of the best planning for the earthquake. That is why in Japan most of the buildings or all the buildings are earthquake proof. वहां पे 6-7 रिक्टर स्केल का अर्थक्वेक ज्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ता, बिल्डिंग्स हिलती हैं, कुछ बिल्डिंग गिरती नहीं है, बिकॉज दे आर मेकिंग सच टाइप ऑफ बिल्डिंग्स. अब अगर वो ऐसी बिल्डिंग नहीं बनाएंगे तो डेली देयर विल बी डेथ्स. अब वो जरा सा साइक्लोन आ जाए तो वहां पे डेथ हो जाए, वहां पे ऐसा नहीं होता है, बिकॉज दे आर नोन फॉर द मेटिकुलस प्लानिंग. बट स्टिल इन जापान वी सॉ द फुकुशिमा इंसिडेंट एंड दैट वाज अलार्मिंग फॉर द वर्ल्ड. If this thing can happen in Japan, then this thing can happen everywhere in the world. If Japanese people were not prevent such incident, who are known for the meticulous planning, then who the hell in this world can prevent it? तो फिर बात करते हैं फुकुशिमा की, क्या हुआ in the Fukushima. In the Japan, what happened in 2011? This is suppose Fukushima complex. Inside this complex, this is the wall of the Fukushima complex. Approximately 7 meter high this wall is. Approximately 7 meter high this wall is. And inside this complex we have all the setup of the reactor. Each and everything of the reactor is inside this complex. And in the coast of the Fukushima, where we have this Fukushima complex, over there historically, in the history of the mankind, this Fukushima coast have never faced tsunami which were more than 5 meter high. तो उनने अपना 7 मीटर हाई के आसपास 6-7 मीटर की वॉल बना दी कि भाई मैनकाइंड की हिस्ट्री नहीं देखी. when mankind have never seen such tsunami in the history of Japan, in the history of Fukushima, that the waves of the Fukushima will be more than 5 meter high. So you will take such measures that like Delhi have hardly seen the earthquake of 8 Richter scale. So that is why metro is similar to that Richter scale. कि अगर उससे भी ऊपर आ गया तब तो कुछ बचा ही नहीं सकते. Same with the Japanese people. Because of their meticulous planning, they made the wall of the complex 6-7 meter high, so that if there will be any tsunami, so that water will not go inside the complex and there will be no problem. Now what happened on that day? The tsunami wave of the tsunami was approximately 14 to 15 meter high. Approximately 14 to 15 meter high was the waves of the tsunami. This is called the when man proposes, God disposes. When waves are so high, then what will happen? The water went inside the complex. Water went inside the complex. And I have told you that in the reactors, you always need a coolant to cool down the reactor, to control the temperature of the reactor. And coolant is controlled by the electricity. And when this reactor was flooded with the water, the electricity supply was halted. Up now, when the supply of the electricity was halted, now how we will have the coolant in the reactor? Up, even for that they installed the generator, and generators also got flooded. they became the boat. Because of that, the flow of the coolant completely stopped in the reactor. Now suppose this is the core of the reactor. Flow of the coolant completely stopped. Here fission is happening. Fission is happening here in the core of the reactor, and there is nothing to control the temperature, and uranium is breaking down into boron and krypton, and every time energy is being released, heat is being released, temperature is increasing. Temperature is increasing. When temperature increased, what happened? Suppose this is the core of the reactor. Now we are inside the core. Here fission is happening and temperature is increasing. There is no flow of the coolant. There is nothing by which they could have removed the heat of the reactor. Fission is happening. Coolant is not there because of the electricity cut, and generators are not working right. And in the reactor, you have the fuel rods. And now temperature increased. When temperature increased, and these fuel rods, they are covered with the zirconium. They are covered with the zirconium. And when the temperature increased, what happened? These fuel rods, they started melting. When they started melting, they started making puddle on the wall of the core of the reactor. Again, the temperature is so high, all the water become the gas. And when this zirconium in the high temperature react with the gaseous form of water, then what happens? It breaks the bond of the water, molecule of the water, and now we have hydrogen and oxygen. Now the surface area will increase. Surface area जितना छोटा करते जाओगे उतना surface area बढ़ता जाएगा. Now the surface area of hydrogen and oxygen will increase. More pressure, more heat, more pressure, more heat, more pressure, and vicious cycle is started. And anything in the world have the capacity of the tolerance. After a time, everything will break down. After a time, everything will break down, and a crack developed in the core of the reactor, and radioactivity got leaked. But the best part with the Japan is that they had the one of the confinement structure, so there was not much harm like we faced the harm in the Chernobyl. Yes, still there was harm. $200 billion was lost because of this nuclear accident. अब क्या हुआ? This was the reason that each and everyone started making hue and cry that we should also shut down the reactor, because if Japan cannot stop such incident, how the hell we can? और हम तो अपनी लापरवाही के लिए माने जाते हैं, है ना? रेड टेपिज्म, लापरवाही हर जगह ही चलता है. So now let us talk about India. The new reactors that we are building. The new reactors that we are building. Whether we should shut down our reactors or not. First and foremost, wherever in the coastal regions, we are building the reactor. पहले हम बना रहे हैं क्या बेस? Because in the coastal region we can have the flood, we can have the tsunami. Na? So same with the Japanese people that they had never faced the tsunami of that much of the height. तो हमने भी बहुत ज्यादा 1-2 मीटर हाइट की सुनामी देखी है, बीट इन द कोलनकुलम और जहां भी हो, जहां में बना रहे हैं इन द कोस्टल रीजन्स, चाहे वो कहगा हो, चाहे वो तारापुर हो, जैतापुर हो, कहाँ जहां भी हम बना रहे हैं. तो इफ देयर इज कोस्टल रीजन, वी आर मेकिंग अप्रोक्सीमेटली 9 मीटर हाई बेस. 9 मीटर हाई बेस विल बी देयर. अब आने दो सुनामी. व्हेन द कॉम्प्लेक्स इज दैट मच हाई, व्हाट द हेल सुनामी विल डू? अब tsunami will not be able to flood the reactor. Now reactor will not be flooded. All the system will work properly. इसके बाद भी after that base, that reactor is approximately 15-16 meter high. चलो, one problem resolved. Now another problem. another problem. Yes, sir, if the tsunami is 10-meter high, 15-meter high, then there is one thing that we have. पहले तो height. Second thing, we have automatic shutdown system. Automatic shutdown system within 4 seconds. Up suppose reactor got flooded, or there is any incident because of which the supply of the electricity stopped. Clear? Because of that, supply of the electricity stopped. Now what they have done, there will be automatic shutdown system within 4 seconds. If there, जैसे ही electricity supply got cut down, जैसे ही if there is any incident in the reactor, this automatic shutdown system will start, and it will stop all the operation of the reactor. Up suppose we have the second best tsunami warning system in the world after Japan, and we have the capability that before 2-3 hours of the tsunami, we will be notified. We will be notified by our tsunami warning system. Tsunami warning system, जैसे as soon as we were notified with the tsunami warning system, then within 4 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, reactor got shut down. When the reactor will be shut down, then there will be no accident. When there is no fission inside the core, then there will be no accident. Chalo, how it will work? How it will work? Ab, suppose this is the core of the reactor. This is the core of the reactor, and here we have control rods. Here we have some control rods. Those control rods, they are attached with the electromagnets. They are attached with the electromagnets. Till the time we have the electricity, these electromagnets will work. As soon as there is cut in the electricity, electromagnet will stop working, and these control rods, they will fall into the core of the reactor, and all the neutrons will be absorbed and reactor will shut down. मतलब इस पे हमें कुछ नहीं करना है. This is passive system that we have used. उसमें ये नहीं करना कि हमें जाके उस पे कुछ करना है कि that this instrument will work, then this instrument will work, then only this thing will happen. As soon as there will be cut in the electricity, this automatic shutdown system will start working automatically. Because of the gravity, these rods will fall down in the core of the reactor. ग्रेविटी तो काम करेगी ना, लाइट हो या ना हो, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी हो ना हो, ग्रेविटी तो काम करनी है. चलो, we and not one, we have 2 automatic shutdown system in each and every reactor that we are building right now. Clear? दूसरी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो गई. नाउ इसके बाद भी, if even after that this automatic shutdown system did not work, then what we have done, abhi coolant will be supplied using the electricity na. Without electricity we will not be able to supply the coolant. अब हमने क्या किया, if this system even stopped, it did not work, then for further, again we will use the gravity. We will have big tankers, and they will be above the reactor. As soon as there will be any incident in the reactor, from here the coolant will coming out. अभी यहां पे भी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. Because of the gravity, the water will start coming out. चलो, एक दूसरी प्रॉब्लम is solved. Third problem, if even there is accident, even after coolant did not work, even after that, then what we have done, this is the core of the reactor. Here we had the fuel rods covered with zirconium. Fuel rods covered with zirconium. Now, in previous reactor in Fukushima, there was a problem. All the nuclear fuel rod, they melted and they made the puddle in the wall of the core, and because of that the temperature increased and so on. Because of the convection, they got the crack. The core got the crack. अब हमने क्या किया, नाउ हियर वी हैव एस्टैब्लिश्ड द कोर कैचर, one extra safety. Now if this fuel will melt, this fuel rod will melt, it will not come directly in the contact of the wall of the core, and it will have the high melting point. This alloy, whatever alloy it will be, this will have the high melting point. Even after that, that core catcher will not be melted. So these are certain additional features. अब इसके बाद भी, even after that, this is the reactor. Over there we had one steel reinforcement concrete confinement chamber, and here we are building, this is called the dome, this shielding is called the dome. And here what we are doing, here we are building dome inside dome, one extra safety feature. Even if this got cracked, then this will save the disaster. So these are the safety feature of our reactors, and all the passive safety feature like the gravity I told you, like the conduction and convection I told you, all the passive safety features are there. तो इसमें हमने क्या किया, दूसरा ऑटोमेटिक शटडाउन सिस्टम, तीसरा हमने यूज किया कोर कैचर का, चौथा हमने यूज किया डोम इनसाइड डोम का, फोर्थ हमने यूज किया, फिफ्थ हमने यूज किया पैसिव सेफ्टी सिस्टम लाइक ग्रेविटी, लाइक कंडक्शन, लाइक कन्वेक्शन. And I think this much safety is enough, because even after this we have the chances of the accident. Because each and everything can be broke down, each and everything in this world. So we have adopted the maximum safety that we could have, that right now technology offers. And whenever there will be new update in the safety system, we will adopt those safety system in the reactors. Because the accident that happened in the Fukushima, that reactor was first generation reactor that was built by French company Areva. And the reactors that we are going to build in Jaitapur is the same company. Areva is going to build that reactors in Jaitapur, EPR, European Pressurized Reactor 1650. 6 reactors will be there, and that will become the biggest site. Approximately 9900 megawatt of the electricity will be produced from that site. Now whether we should shut down the reactors, अभी आगे बात करते हैं. चलो, ये तो हमने बात कर ली सेफ्टी की. We compared with the geography, we compared with the second thing was we compared with other energy resources. Solar, ये nuclear was cheaper and cheap electricity. चलो, if अब now come to economy, because Germany shut down all of its reactors. Let us compare the economy of Germany and Indian economy. So German economy, the growth of German economy is what? पहले तो population की बात करते हैं. Most of the population is elderly. This is German economy. This is Indian economy. Here most of the population, they are young. And who consume more, young or elder? तुम्हारे दादाजी को आईफोन चाहिए होता है, नई जीन्स सूट टाई चाहिए होता है, तुम्हें ऐसा नहीं होता ना कि दादी को चाहिए ये वाली साड़ी, बिल्कुल एकदम बनारसी साड़ी और कांजीवरम साड़ी चाहिए. दादी को नहीं चाहिए होती है, तुम्हें चाहिए होती है. Because younger generation will consume more na. Consumption of the younger generation will be more than the elderly people. And when your country have the most of the population that is younger, which side we will have the more consumption? Beta, here consumption will more. Here consumption will more, here consumption will less. Because when you are elderly, फिर you started believing in the spiritual thing, consumption automatically decreases. देखो अपने दादाजी को या फिर तुम्हारे घर में जो भी 60 साल के ऊपर के लोग हों, अपने आप उनका कंजम्पशन कम होने लगता है. बहुत हार्डली कोई केस हो कि उसके साथ ऐसा ना हो ना. रेस्ट ऑफ द पीपल 99.99% पीपल their consumption reduces after 60-65 years of the age. Now when consumption will decrease, their growth of economy will increase or decrease. There is hardly any growth in the economy of in German economy. The growth is in some 0.6%, 0.8%. This is the growth of German economy. And here, this is the growth of Indian economy, approximately 7%. That have been pretended, that have been assumed that for the upcoming decade, each and every year we will have the approximately average growth that will be 7%. So, if here the consumption is more, then what will happen? Then you have to manufacture more, na? You have to manufacture more. Here manufacturing will be less. Here manufacturing will be more. And here German people, they have reached their peak of the consumption. And here we are the energy scarce country. We are not on that level. We have to increase the energy consumption of every person by 10 times, tenfold, if we want to become the developed by 2047. So here, when the consumption will be more, then we have to produce more. For more production, we need the more manufacturing. We need more manufacturing. For that, you will be needing source of energy. Ab isme you can use the coal, you can use the solar, you can use the hydro. If you will use the coal, then CO2 will be reduced. Then what will be your pledge to the Paris climate deal that we have pledged, that we will reduce the carbon dioxide emission by 1 billion tons by 2030, that our energy intensity will be 45%, that we will have 500 gigawatt of the energy using the non-fossil sources by 2030. How we will fulfill those pledges if we are going to phase out the nuclear energy? That is why we are aggressively pursuing the nuclear energy. Now our target is 100 gigawatt by 2047, and it is cheaper, na? It is cheaper like coal. It is reliable like coal. If the manufacturing will be cheaper, if the electricity is cheaper, manufacturing will be cheaper, and if manufacturing will be cheaper, then goods and services will be cheaper. If goods and services will be cheaper, then your export will increase. And you will become the competitive in the international market, and value of the rupee, it will strengthen. Then also your GDP will increase, na? When the GDP will increase, then you will be able to invest in research and development, and when you will able to invest in research and development, then you will have the technologies, then you will export the technology also, then you will have even more cheaper manufacturing because of the latest technologies. You will have more secure reactors, more safe reactors because of the latest and cutting edge state of the art technologies. So whether we should shut down the nuclear reactors. अब चलो आगे, एक चीज और रह गई है, एक आखिरी. Then you will decide, each and everyone will decide whether we should shut down the nuclear reactors or not. Sovereignty of the country. Now you must be thinking that how this sovereignty is related with the nuclear energy. कैसे how it is related with nuclear energy? Sir, we are the only country, as per additional protocol, as per safeguard agreement, we are the only country we are only non-NPT country in this entire globe, in this entire earth, who maintain official military reactors. 4 are in Kaiga, 1 is Dhruv, and 2 are where? कहाँ पे? Madras. Madras, because over there we will have the FBR, Kalpakkam Mini. So we maintain these military reactors. किस लिए? So that we can have what? We can have the plutonium. We can have the plutonium. सर बिना रिएक्टर के प्लूटोनियम कहां से लाओगे? केवल ध्रुव से निकालोगे क्या प्लूटोनियम? Without reactor, how the hell we will have the plutonium? If we will not have the plutonium, then from where we will have the nuclear arms? Because China is increasing its stockpile day by day, day by day. Right now, its stockpile have been increased approximately 700, more than 700, and it is the assumption that by 2035 it will surpass the USA, and we have only 170. Whether we had the credible minimum deterrence against the China, I don't know. I don't know. And if you are going to shut down all your nuclear reactors, sir, Germany can do that because Germany don't have to face the war with France, face the war with UK, because they have the stability. Here you cannot do that because Pakistan also have the nuclear weapon, China also have the nuclear weapon. The day you will stop the nuclear weapon, why China is stopping in Doklam? Because you have the nuclear weapon. The day you will stop your nuclear reactors, it means now you don't have the source of the plutonium, your credible minimum deterrence. What will happen to your credible minimum deterrence? The day China will come inside here. China is stopping in Arunachal because you have the nuclear weapon. Sir, if you are going to shut down the nuclear reactors, you will threaten the national security, you will threaten the sovereignty of the country, and this is the most important reason that why we should not shut down the nuclear reactors. From where we will get the plutonium? Plutonium chahiye na to maintain the credible minimum deterrence, and without the credible minimum deterrence, you know what will happen with us. Because China with this Belt and Road Initiative, अभी क्या कर रहा है चाइना? Here in Gwadar they have port, Hambantota they have port, Myanmar they have port, Bangladesh they have port, Djibouti they have made a military station, and then in Maldives they also have port. They are building a port in Maldives. और फिर they have CPEC. CPEC भी तो जा रहा है ऊपर से, China Pakistan economic corridor, and that CPEC will be connected with Gwadar. They are surrounding you from all the sides. Why they are surrounding you from all the sides? What is the need to take the Hambantota for 99 years of the lease? कहने को तो वहां पे commercial activities होंगी, but when time will be there, Chinese warship will be here, and if you will not have the nuclear weapon, if you will not have the delivery system, then your sovereignty is threatened. So for me, we should not shut down the nuclear reactors because it ensures our credible minimum deterrence. So these were certain reasons. Now you have to decide whether we should shut down the nuclear reactors or not. Even Japan took the decision, and Japan have to revert its decision to shut down the nuclear reactors. There is only one country, that is Germany, in the world who have shut down the nuclear reactors. So this was the first topic that we have completed. Next topic. Next क्या था हमारा? एनर्जी नहीं था, न्यूक्लियर वेपन था ना. अब what happened in 1964? In 1964, China conducted its nuclear weapon test in Lopnur. The name of that test was 596, 596. So China conducted its first nuclear weapon test in Lopnur facility, and that was uranium-based bomb. And before that, we fought war with China in 1962. And that was very interesting time when China invaded over us. At that time, what was happening is that USA and USSR They were busy in the Cuban Missile Crisis. The month was October 1962. And the same time China invaded over us. Then China said it was incident. Whether it was incident or well planned incursion, because मुल्क इत्तफाकों से नहीं चलते ना, इतने इत्तफाक नहीं होते कि हर चीज में इत्तफाक हो जाए कि when you were busy over there, then we invaded over India. So 1962 we fought war with China. Then 1964, in 1964 they tested the nuclear weapon. Now one of the neighbor who had a lot of disputes with us, with whom we have fought the war, that is laced with the nuclear weapon. Now next thing, then we fought the war in 1971 with Pakistan. When we fought the war in 1971 in Pakistan, then what happened? Ki that USA, this is USS Enterprise, 7th Fleet of USA. They threaten ki that they will send this USS Enterprise in the Bay of Bengal in the support of the Pakistan. If India will try to do any misadventure with the Pakistan, but Russia came to rescue us because we signed the Treaty of Friendship with Russia in 1971 itself. So, in these backdrops, we took the decision to test the nuclear weapon because when in 1964, when Mr. Nehru died, Mr. Sastry became the Prime Minister of India, and at that time we were taking aid from the USA PL 480 scheme. So, Mr. Baba asked Mr. Sastry that, sir, we should weaponize ourselves, we should make the nuclear weapon. And Mr. Sastry, being the staunch Gandhian and being a realistic person, he said that we will go for the nuclear energy, not for the nuclear weapon, because right now people are dying with the hunger. And if we are going to test the nuclear weapon right now, then US will stop the aid and we will face the sanction. The Herculean, the Himalayan sanction will be put on the India's economy and our people will die with the hunger. So yes, Sastry did not agree with the Bhava. And what happened? After there we have the 1965 war with Pakistan. And in 1966, when Mr. Sastry was in Tashkent, in a very mysterious circumstances, he died in the hotel of Tashkent. And in the same year, in 1966 itself, Mr. Bhabha died in a flight because of the plane crash. Up now 3 losses we have. Mr. Nehru died, Mr. Sastry died, and Mr. Bhabha, father of the atomic program of India, he also died. Now, the chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission became the Mr. Vikram Sarabhai Patel, who was also not a lot of fan of the nuclear weapon because of these problems, because we could have been put into the sanctions, because he was a very intelligent man. इस पे ये कहना गलत होगा कि वो न्यूक्लियर वेपन के अगेंस्ट में थे, because he was a practical man. He knew that if we are going to test the nuclear weapon, then what we have to face, which problems we have to face. So yes, till the Sastry we did not agree. Then comes the 1971. Then comes the 1971, the Bangladesh war. Ab now what is happening here? When it comes the 1971, right now in 1971, we have Cirrus. Cirrus was a research reactor that was given by Canada. We got Cirrus in 1960 by Canada, and this was the research reactor. With this research reactor, we were doing the research in the isotopes so that we can use the isotopes in the medicine, in the agriculture. Actually, Bark was doing each and everything. And another good thing was this reactor is that using the same thing, we could also produce the plutonium. We could also produce the plutonium. When the test was conducted in 1964 by China in Lop Nur, then we were very scared. And at the time, Baba was alive, and Baba was very actively pursuing for the nuclear weapon. He was very supportive of the nuclear weapon. He used to think that with nuclear energy, we should also have the nuclear weapon, because in the world, all the five nations, they have acquired the nuclear weapon. Mr. Baba, he also developed a plutonium reprocessing faculty here. So up now we have the plutonium reprocessing faculty also. That is why when it was asked by Mr. Baba that how much time it will take to develop the nuclear weapon, Mr. Baba replied that it will take only 18 months to have the nuclear weapon, to have the nuclear weapon test, because now acquired the we have already developed the plutonium reprocessing faculty, so that we can reprocess the plutonium, we can fetch the plutonium from the spent fuel. Up now we reached to the 1971. Now in 1971 Canada, जो कनाडा ने हमें सीरस दिया था अंडर द प्रोग्राम एटम्स फॉर पीस. अब कनाडा वाज बिल्डिंग सेकेंड रिएक्टर in Rawatbhata, Rajasthan, second pressurized heavy water reactor. First, they started building in 1965. Then second reactor was being built by Canadian in Rawatbhata in 1971. Up in 1971, we had two problems. One, China acquired the nuclear weapon, and US threatened us. And we are seeing at that time even Sino-US access, US-China access was started at the time of 1971, and Sino-Pak access was already there. So these nations became hostile for us, and that is why we went for the friendship treaty with Russia, 20-year friendship treaty with Russia. Up now, when these things were happening, Mr. Indira Gandhi, Madam Indira Gandhi called Mr. Rajaramanna. Mr. Indira Gandhi called Mr. Rajaramanna. Rajaramanna, he was the one of the finest nuclear scientists after Mr. Baba. So Mr. Indira Gandhi asked Mr. Rajaramanna whether we can have the nuclear weapon. If we can have, we should build it. We should not wait for the assurance, security assurance from the other countries. Because before that we have tried a lot. He said so that we can have the denuclearization of the world. But when it was not possible, then we decided we should also go for the nuclear weapon test. So Mr. Indira Gandhi called Mr. Rajaramanna, Mr. Payan Sen, her secretary, and NSA, obviously. So these some people knew about the test that we are going to test the nuclear weapon. Now there was problem where we have to test the nuclear weapon, because to test the nuclear weapon we should have a site where we should test the nuclear weapon. So there were two sites that was being considered at that time. First was we thought about we can test the nuclear weapon in Ladakh, and second site was Pokhran. So the first site, we got discussion about the first site that we should test the nuclear weapon in Ladakh, and all our nuclear installation was in Trombay, that was in Bombay, and the distance between Ladakh and Bombay, it was huge, and at that time we did not have very much communication, very much good transportation, and फिर लद्दाख में तो अभी भी इतना अच्छा ट्रांसपोर्टेशन का सिस्टम नहीं हो पाया है. तो अब नाउ वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट ऑफ 1974. Another problem is that Himalaya is tectonically unstable. Third problem is that the temperature is so less, and the satellite of US, even if a single degree change in the temperature, it will be captured by the infrared satellite of USA, because USA was spying on all over the world that no one should test the nuclear weapon. So we left the idea of Pokhran. Sorry, we left the idea of Ladakh. Now on other side, Pokhran. Pokhran was in Rajasthan, and it was a desert. It was desert and approximately uninhabited, and nearby Trombay. So the site was finalized. Okay, that yes, it will be Trombay. When the site was finalized, now the challenge was that this mission must be very, very secretive, because CIA was here, KGB was here, Mossad was here. Nobody wanted us to test the nuclear weapon. Nobody wanted us to test the nuclear weapon so that we can become the nuclear power, because it will disturb the balance in the Asian region. China was becoming hegemon in the Asia. We have to evade each and every spying agency. So we used very secretive approach of the nuclear weapon testing. So hardly some people knew about this nuclear weapon test, like Mr. Raja Ramanna, Mr. PM Sen, Secretary of Mr. Indira Gandhi itself, and NSA, and some other people from the armed forces might be knowing about it. Now the Pokhran is finalized. How the things will be moved from Trombay to Pokhran? Now this was another issue. When the things will be moved, then it can be caught by the spying agencies. Now Mr. Raja Ramanna, Mr. PN Sen, they drove the truck itself. The scientists like Mr. Raja Ramanna, scientists like Mr. PM Sen. In the month of the May, when we have burning sun, the sun is very hostile in the month of May. The top-notch scientist of India, top-notch scientist of nuclear energy in India, he is driving the truck himself from Trombay to Pokhran, approximately 1200 kilometers. This is called the patriotism. You are doing each and everything, whatever you can do for the nation. This is real patriotism. And that person reached to Pokhran. In the Pokhran, he met with some army people, because each and everything must be very confined. So they met with the army people. Up to army people, what they told, sir, we are here to for the purpose of the excavation. अब उन्होंने पूछा सर किस चीज का excavation करना है? उन्होंने बोला तुमने नाम सुना सरस्वती रिवर का? Have you heard the name of the Saraswati River? One of the most cultural and pious river of the India. So we are here for the expedition of the Saraswati River, and that was, oh my God, each and everyone was very, very impressed. And in the Pokhran, the heat was unforgiving, sun was unforgiving. And at that time, अब उन्होंने बोला कि sir, we are here for the expedition of the Saraswati River. So now, if you have to do the expedition of the Saraswati River in the desert, then you have to dig. You have to dig the pit. उन्होंने बोला sir, you have to dig the pit. Up now, those people started digging the pit. In the first pit, there was water. And each and everyone was very happy. Sir, we got the Saraswati River. But you cannot put your plutonium in the water, na? तो उन्होंने बोला सर ये नहीं, अभी दूसरा प्रूफ करने के लिए दूसरा चाहिए हमें. We have to dig another pit in some another place. So those army people said, sir, sun is unforgiving. Can you see the scorching sun over the head? Now they dug the another pit and there was no water. Over there we put our bomb, we put our plutonium, and that was the implosion device. And yes, on the May, I think it was 18th of the May, 18th of the May, Mr. Buddha smiled. 18th of the May, this implosion took place, and each and everything, it was like that. It was like that sky is raining the fire, and every seismograph of the world caught this seismic activity in the Pokhran, desert of the Pokhran. And we called it that Buddha smiled, because the day when on the 18th of May 1974, that day was the day of the Buddha Purnima. That is why we called it Operation Smiling Buddha, because culture is entwined each and everywhere. Each and everywhere culture is entwined. So that is why it is Operation Smiling Buddha, and when Buddha smiled, then we have to see the reaction of the world. Now you will see the reaction of the world. Up now, what is happening? Canada and USA, what they are doing? Canada stopped the supply. Canada and USA, because USA built the reactor in Tarapur. Two reactors they built in Tarapur, and Canada was building another reactor in Rawatbhata. So we had approximately four reactors at that time. USA stopped the supply of the uranium. Canada stopped the supply of the heavy water. Now we are not going to give you any fuel. Now we are going not give you any technology. And now this is the time when we was put into the nuclear apartheid. We were put into the nuclear isolation. We were cut off from the nuclear technology market in the world, because when the US will put the sanction over us, hardly anyone will oppose you. And at that time we were not that much big economy. So Canada also stopped the supply of the heavy water. USA stopped the supply of the uranium. Now, at that time, Indira Gandhi was the prime minister, and over there Mr. Nixon was the president. When Indira Gandhi talked with Nixon, then there was talk between them. Nixon said to Indira Gandhi, you have two options. You have only two options. Either you destroy your nuclear weapon, or you should take the technology. Mr. Indira Gandhi said, have you ever seen an example in this world who have destroyed its nuclear weapon? And this explosion is not for the purpose of the war, not for the purpose of the military. This explosion was for the purpose of the peaceful purposes. Nixon वो बच्चा तो था नहीं कि that he will buy such things, कि that you tested the nuclear weapon and you are saying कि that this nuclear weapon test was for the purpose of the peaceful things. So they ultimately stopped the aid. All of every aid, whatever we were getting, they stopped the aid. Now, even Canada, when Canada was building the second reactor in Rawatbhata, those engineers who were building the reactors in Rawatbhata, Canada even called back those engineers also, and that reactor was half completed in Rawatbhata. At that time, we had a company that was known as Power Corporation of India Limited. And before 1974 test, these engineers from the Power Corporation of India Limited, they used to see, and those Canadians, those USA people, Americans, those people used to build the reactor. And the engineers from the Power Corporation of India, they used to see, and they used to learn what to do, how to build the reactor. Actually, at that time, we had the Atoms for Peace program started by Mr. Uncle Sam. So because of that, they were teaching us something. Ki, theek hai, you are a fine country, that you are a responsible country. You are from the country of the Nehru, who started the NAM, non-aligned movement, who is not in any side, neither in our front nor in theirs front. At that time, we had the two front, communist and capitalist. तो आप किसी फ्रंट में नहीं हो तो ठीक है. They were giving us with the technology. They were teaching us the technology. So Indira Gandhi called after 1974, when she was threatened to destroy each and every technology of the nuclear weapon testing. So Indira Gandhi called the engineer from the Power Corporation of India Limited, and she asked that whether can you build the reactors. They bola, yes ma'am, we are completely aware how to build the reactor. We know each and everything. From that day on, each and every reactor which have been constructed in India is being constructed by NPCIL. After that, this Power Corporation of India Limited renamed as NPCIL, and it was make a PSU. And now NPCIL build each and every reactor which are uranium based. Yes, we get the technology, we get the instrument from the other countries, but reactors are constructed by the engineers of NPCIL. अब देखो यहाँ पे क्या हुआ, हमारा ऑपरेशन स्माइलिंग मुद्दा हो गया. अब now we conducted the test. What will happen in the test, and from where we got the Plutonium, because this was the implosion device. This was plutonium based bomb. Plutonium we got from the Cirrus. Because of that Canada was very angry कि तुमने हमसे लिया था atoms for peace purpose से, तुमने हमसे लिया था कि that you will do the research on the radioisotope, you will do the research for the purpose of this medicine, for the purpose of agriculture, and you are extracting the plutonium from my reactor, from our reactor, and you are doing the atomic weapon test. So in the bomb, what happens? When bomb explodes, then 50% of the energy is from sound, 35% of the energy is from heat, and 15% is radiation. This is the radiation. When we conducted the nuclear weapon test in 1974, then Madam Gandhi was criticized. Why she was criticized? Because we did not have the missile. और फिर मैंने बताया कि that was for the peaceful purposes, that was not for the weaponization. लेकिन still Madam Gandhi was criticized that what you will do with the nuclear weapon if you don't have the delivery system, what you will do with the nuclear weapon. तुम्हें लग रहा होगा यार हमने इतना अच्छा काम किया, न्यूक्लियर वेपन टेस्ट किया, तो मैडम गांधी वुड हैव बीन प्रेज्ड instead of being criticized. So criticism is the feature of democracy. You will see criticism only in the democracy because there are 3 Ds which are very important for the democracy: debate, dissent and discussion. Without these 3 Ds there is no democracy. अब democracy तो पाकिस्तान में भी है, whether they have debate, dissent and discussion. Democracy तो चाइना में भी है, whether they have debate, dissent and discussion. Whether anyone can criticize Mr. Jinping. गायब हो जाता है वहां पे, फॉरेन मिनिस्टर गायब करा दिया, मतलब जिसने भी डिसेंट किया जिनपिंग के अगेंस्ट में सबको गायब करा दिया उसने. वेदर यू कैन हैव क्रिटिसिज्म इन नॉर्थ कोरिया, ने अपने अंकल को तोप से बंधवा दिया, तोप चलवा दिया. वेदर यू कैन हैव क्रिटिसिज्म इन सऊदी अरेबिया, मोहम्मद बिन सलमान, कैन यू? जमाल खाशोगी who was living in the USA and that person wanted to marry a girl. गलती क्या थी? उसने क्रिटिसिज्म किया मोहम्मद बिन सलमान का, and that person wanted to marry a girl and there was a condition of her father that you have to take a certificate in which it is written that you are not married or you are completely divorcee. For that we need the certificate that you are not already married, you are single person right now. And Jamal Khashoggi was the citizen of Saudi Arabia, and right at that time he was in Istanbul. In the Istanbul we had the embassy of Saudi Arabia, so he applied in the embassy that from this that I want this certificate, and yes, embassy people would provide that certificate because that embassy was of Saudi Arabia. तो दोनों गए यार, पहुंचे दोनों, जमाल खाशोगी एंड हिज गर्लफ्रेंड, दे रीच देयर. अब जमाल खाशोगी अंदर गए, he will take just the certificate, and after that their plan was that we will marry. He went inside, he never came back. He was chopped into the pieces. He was chopped into the pieces inside the embassy. And what they did, they burned, they disappeared his body. And one decoy of Jamal Khashoggi, he came outside of the embassy. Jamal Khashoggi never came outside from the embassy. One decoy of the Khashoggi came outside from the embassy. फिर उन्होंने क्या किया, पूरी एम्बेसी को रिपेंट करा दिया, पूरी एम्बेसी को केमिकल्स डाल के धुल दिया, so that there should not be traces of the DNA also, there should not be traces of the blood also. Why? That person criticized Mohammed bin Salman. So you can do the criticism in democracy only, and that is the feature of democracy. Yes, then we started in 1980s. We started integrated guided missile development program. We tested our Prithvi, we tested our Agni. These are the weapon delivery systems in the world. We got the missiles. Now, अब क्या हुआ? हाँ, क्या? अभी क्या? अभी वाली बात बाद में करेंगे, है ना? किसी और दिन, किसी और दिन करेंगे। अब क्या होता है बेटा कि चलो ठीक है, थिंग्स वर हैपनिंग, देन मिस्टर राजीव गांधी बिकेम द प्राइम मिनिस्टर. When Mr. Rajiv Gandhi became the prime minister, he also wanted to test the nuclear weapon. But one thing, he wanted to have the supercomputer in India. He wanted to have the IT revolution in India. Yes, thanks to Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, we had the IT revolution in India. Because of him, we got the computer in India, and nowadays you can see the role of the computer in everyone's life. Because of computer, that whatever access of internet you have, that would not have been possible. Whatever the flow of the information you have, that would not have been possible. Then comes the Mr. PV Narasimha Rao. He also wanted to test the nuclear weapon. Now when he wanted to test the nuclear weapon, then in 1995 he wanted to test the nuclear weapon. Then it was caught by the satellite of the USA. It was caught by the satellite of the USA. And at that time, Mr. Bill Clinton was the president over there. Clinton called Mr. Narasimha Rao, बोला कि you just have opened your economy. You just have come with the LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization. And now you are going to test the nuclear weapon. What you want? You want to face the economic sanction again? You want to cripple the economy of India? You want to become the fourth world? You want to become the least developed country? You are already facing the economic problem in your country, and you are going to test the nuclear weapon, and we have got to know by our satellites. So Mr. Clinton pressurized him, and we did not go for the test. Then Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee became the Prime Minister of India, 1998. And Mr. Narasimha Rao told Mr. Vajpayee that each and everything is ready. You have to just say yes for the nuclear weapon test. And you know Atal Bihari Vajpayee, he was very firm decision maker. He was very, very firm decision maker. So Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee called Mr. Kalam and asked that whether we have all the things available here. So Mr. Kalam said, yes, we have all the things available here and we can test the nuclear weapon as you will say yes. So Atal Bihari Vajpayee ने बोला ठीक है, we should weaponize our nuclear weapon. We should weaponize the nuclear energy now, because in 1974 we did not weaponize. We faced the sanction, and that fault we have committed. When we were facing the sanction, we must have weaponized the nuclear weapons. At that time only, na? At that time we were already facing the sanction. उसी टाइम पे हमें weaponize कर लेना चाहिए था. But we did not. That was the fault that we committed. अब now, in the Pokhran, again, the site was chosen, Pokhran, and this was even more secretive mission, Operation Shakti, 11th and 13th of the May 1998. We tested our nuclear weapon again, and previous time there was only one test, and this time we had the 5 tests. And in the 5 tests, 4 were the fission test and 1 was fusion test. Fusion test is called the thermonuclear test, मतलब कि hydrogen bomb. And the yield of that hydrogen bomb was approximately 45 kilotons of the TNT. Now what is this yield? Yield is how much heat will be generated. If I am detonating 1 kiloton of the TNT, or suppose 10 unit of the heat is generated, and when I tested the nuclear weapon, when I tested the, इसको इस तरह समझो, suppose 1 kiloton TNT trinitrotoluene I detonated, suppose, and 10 unit of the heat is generated. When I tested the nuclear weapon, and the heat is generated 450 unit. then what is this heat is equivalent to how much TNT? Divided by 10. It means it is equivalent to 45 kilotons of the TNT. This is the yield, because these weapon generates a lot of heat. So we measure this heat in the sense of the kilotons of the TNT. Kilotons of the TNT. That is called the yield of the nuclear weapon. And the nuclear weapon which generates yield more than 1 kiloton, if the yield is more than 1 kiloton, then we called it strategic nuclear weapon or kiloton nuclear weapon. And if this heat is less than 1 kiloton, if this heat is less than 1 kiloton, then we call it tactical nuclear weapon or sub kiloton. The strategic, it means if you want to destroy the entire city, then you will use the strategic nuclear weapon. The yield will be more than 1 kiloton. If you want to target only, अब suppose मुखर्जी नगर की ओर टारगेट करना है, तो they will use the tactical nuclear weapon. The yield will be less. छोटा nuclear weapon को use करेंगे. And we tested sub kiloton devices in Pokhran, kiloton devices in Pokhran, and thermonuclear devices in Pokhran. So this was the nuclear weapon test. So ultimately we conducted 5 in 1998, 1 in 1974. Total 6 tests of the nuclear weapon have been conducted by India. Rest are the tests which have been done using the simulation, using the computer. Up now, what happened just after 1995? Okay. Now when we conducted the test, these put the sanction, Japan put the sanction over us, USA, Canada put the sanction over us, then European Union put the sanction over us, China did the condemnation. China condemned us, खुद के पास है, लेकिन they will condemn us for testing of the nuclear weapon. Up now, there is one thing that is called NSG. पहले NSG के बारे में देखते हैं, या तो पहले we should know about this nuclear command authority. There is one thing that is called nuclear command authority. अब क्या हुआ in the nuclear command authority? The picture will be here. चलो ठीक है, यहाँ पे बात करते हैं न्यूक्लियर कमांड अथॉरिटी, दैट हु विल फायर द न्यूक्स. Nuclear command authority. Nuclear command authority, it is headed by the political council. First we will have the political council. And political council will be headed by the prime minister of the country, and the decision of the political council will be final, and this political council will be suggested by the executive council. Executive council will give the strategic inputs. This executive council will give the strategic input, and it will be led by the national security advisor. कौन है अभी national security advisor? Ajit Doval. Right now, this National Executive Council is headed by the Mr. NSA, Mr. Ajit Doval. Then we have National Security Advisory Board. National Security Advisory Board is a think tank. It gives the strategic input related to the foreign affairs and some other additional inputs if we want. Then fourth is Strategic Command Force. And Strategic Command Force, it have all the nuclear weapons. It have all the nuclear weapons. They are the custodian of all the nuclear weapon, all the missiles. So if Executive Council suggested the Political Council that we have to fire the nuclear weapon, then this Political Council, if it takes the decision, it will tell the Strategic Command Force, and this is one of the Tri Command Force. Another is Andaman and Nicobar Services. We have two Tri Command Forces. One is Strategic Command Force, another is Andaman and Nicobar Services. Up now here, it is informed. Now it is its work. It is the work of the Strategic Command Force to execute the order of the Political Council. They will fire the nukes. They will fire the nukes. But before firing the nuke, they will assure the retaliation. If you will fire the nuke, another country will also fire the nuke. They will make the strategy for the retaliation and then they will fire the nuclear weapons. Up now, if in the Political Council PM is not there, suppose PM is in some foreign visit, Mr. Modi to जाते रहते हैं कहीं ना कहीं. Suppose there is a war and we have to fire the nuclear weapon and Mr. Modi is not in Delhi. So when Mr. Modi leaves the capital, then the responsibility of head of the Political Council is given to some other cabinet minister. That is up to Mr. Modi. And basically the four top-notch cabinets, that is defense, home, foreign, अब and finance, इन्हीं को, इनमें से किसी को रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी देके जाते होंगे. That is why you will never see all of these minister, Mr. Modi and defense minister and foreign minister and finance minister and home minister, all together they are leaving capital. All together they are leaving capital. It is hardly, it have been seen कि all together they are leaving capital. All these five ministers, one will be remain here. And if even these people died, this entire nuclear command authority is died, then we have some supplementary setups also that is not revealed. That is not revealed. अब यहाँ पे क्या है कि that in the Political Council, if these four cabinet minister will not be there, then some other minister will be held responsible. उसको responsibility देके जाएंगे. But what happens in USA? USA में क्या होता है? USA में पहले president, then vice president, then we have defense secretary, then we have chief of army staff. Over there it is written. Over there it is written. अब क्या हुआ? Then in 2018, you know who was the president of USA? You must be knowing this person, Mr. Trump. और इसको ही जानते होगे, ये कौन है? Kim Jong-un. He is Kim Jong-un from North Korea. He is from USA. And they were fighting a Twitter war. In 2018, they were fighting a Twitter war. Mr. President said that I have nuclear button permanent in my table. Kim Jong-un said that my nuclear button is bigger than yours. Then what happened ki that in USA there was a reporter, Mr. Jim Costa. So Jim Costa was a little bit critical of Mr. Trump. क्यों ट्रम्प बातें ऐसा करता है. तो Mr. Jim Costa next day he went to the White House because he was a correspondent of the White House. In matlab they have some passes so that they can have the permanent entry in the White House. And White House have to, this is their system that they have to give the this entry of reporters into the White House, because they what is it, that they promote the free media. They are promoter of the free media. If they are restraining the entry of the media personals in the White House, then it means they are not promoting the free media. So they promote the free media, so they give the access to some correspondent into the White House. So Mr. Jim Costa, he was the correspondent in the White House. So Mr. Jim Costa next day he visited the Oval Office, the presidential office, and in the presidential office, in the Oval Office, we have table, है ना. वो शायद अब्राहम लिंकन ने बनवाई थी, वो तब की टेबल है वहाँ पे शायद. So we have the table in the Oval Office. So Mr. Jim Costa clicked the picture of the table and he put that picture into the Twitter just below the tweet of Mr. Trump, that I have permanent nuclear button in my table, है ना. और उसमें नीचे कैप्शन लिखा, where is the button sir? No button actually. There is no such button. There is no such nuclear button. अब वो तो लोग लड़ रहे हैं, उसके पास हो सकती है ना, उसके पास हो सकती है, लेकिन इसके पास नहीं है. So this thing happened. Next day, Trump removed the Jim Costa from the White House. और फिर क्या हुआ, entire media of the USA they criticize this decision of the White House, and the very next day they have to reinstate the Jim Costa into the White House again. So this is called the power of media. So now we will talk about the NSG, Nuclear Supplier Group. Up now, when we tested the nuclear weapon in 1974, when we tested 1974 spinning Buddha, and in 1960 we got the Cirrus reactor. In 1962 USA gave us the 2 reactor in Tarapur. In 1965 Canada started giving us PSWR, pressurized heavy water reactor, and they started building reactor in Tarapur, sorry, in Rawatbata, Rajasthan. So अब क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे, 1970 NPT came into force. Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty came into the force, and the cutoff date was 1967. This was the cutoff date for NPT. That before that, if you have tested the nuclear weapon, then you will be recognized as P5 nuclear weapon states, and those permanent member of the Security Council, they had already tested the nuclear weapon. China is 1964. USA, the Project Manhattan that was started by USA before the Second World War, of which Mr. Oppenheimer was the director or chairman. He headed the Project Manhattan, and he gave the nuclear weapon to the USA. So USA was the signatory of NPT because USA already had tested the nuclear weapon. Then France and UK, they also tested the nuclear weapon. Russia also tested the nuclear weapon. Then China tested the nuclear weapon. So all P5 tested the nuclear weapon till 1964. And that is why they recognized as the nuclear power by the NPT. Rest of the states, they are the non-nuclear power, and they cannot possess the nuclear power. They cannot have the nuclear weapon. So NPT came into the force in 1970, 1971. They established a committee that is called the Zenger Committee. 1971, we have the Zenger Committee. Now this Zenger Committee was to prevent the flow of the technology and flow of the nuclear material to the non-nuclear weapon states, so that those non-nuclear weapon states should never acquire the nuclear weapon. This was the watchdog kind of thing, this Zenger committee. NPT was the treaty, this Zenger committee, it was club of some of the countries. When 1974 we tested our nuclear weapon and Buddha smiled, then they dissolved this Zenger committee. And in 1975, 20 states or 20 countries, out of which 5 are the P5 and some other like-minded countries of USA, UK, France, form the London group, or you can say London club, और इसी को बोला गया NSG, Nuclear Supplier Group, to control the flow of the nuclear technology and nuclear material to the non-nuclear weapon state. These members of the NSG, they can trade the nuclear technology between the member states only, not to the non-member states. But this NSG came into the form because of our response. This was the response of the smiling Buddha to prevent India from weaponizing the nuclear power. So this was NSG. NSG was completely against us. Now again in 1998 we again tested the nuclear weapon. When we tested the nuclear weapon, things were difficult for us. USA put the sanction over us, and when USA puts the sanction, every Tom, Dick and Harry comes and puts the sanction over you, whether it is relevant or irrelevant. But there was one country in the world, Russia, then USSR, in 1974. He never put any sanction to us. He said, you need uranium, we will give you uranium. You need heavy water, we will give you heavy water. And when Russia did the incursion in Afghanistan in 1979, we also did not say anything. Russia gave us MiG aircrafts. Russia gave us some of the aircraft carriers. Russia gave us the technology of AK-47, this AK series. Then in 1998, Putin was there and we conducted the nuclear weapon test. सबने हमारे ऊपर सैंक्शन लगाया. पुतिन बोलता है अच्छा कुलन-कुलम वाला एग्रीमेंट, वी साइन द कुलन-कुलम एग्रीमेंट वे बैक, VVR reactor. उसने बोलता है we will revive this agreement. What is putting sanction over you? I will give you reactor. This is the relationship of Russia with us. And recently when Putin again came, he again said कि अभी वो 4 यूनिट जो बच गए जिसमें कंस्ट्रक्शन चल रहा है, we will speed that construction so that those project can be completed as soon as possible. So Russia have always helped us, and whenever there have been any resolution against India, Russia have always vetoed. And whenever there is any resolution against India, we have either opposed or we have walked out. So we have always supported Russia in UN, and Russia have always supported in UN Security Council because that is the permanent member. Then we got S-400 from Russia. Then we got INS Vikramaditya from Russia. So, and out of 31 squadron, 24 are from the Russia. This much of the defense partnership that we have with Russia. Even submarine, when we have to construct the INS Arihant, they gave us INS Chakra. They gave us, usko humne Chakra bola, Akula class submarine, that is Chakra. So that we can learn from Chakra. Chakra केवल इसलिए थी कि so that we can learn how to build the reactor in the submarine, how to attach ballistic missile in the submarine. So Russia have never opposed us anywhere. अब क्या होता है कि in 2005 Mr. Manmohan Singh visited USA 18 July 2005, and now George Bush Jr. is the president. George Bush Jr. and Mr. Manmohan Singh, they announced from the stage that USA is going to share the nuclear technology with India. How? They did the amendment in the Atomic Energy Act 1954, Section 123 was amended using the Hyde Act, and India got the exemption that except India, to share the nuclear technology on that Atomic Energy Act, it was required to that that country should be signatory of NPT. तो उस पे आगे लिख दिया गया except India, मतलब we got the exemption. But sir, कैसे, how? There is two things in the Vienna Convention. If you have some irony between the domestic law and international law, then international law will prevail. International law is NSG. That is NSG that you have signed. NSG that you have said that you will deal with in the nuclear technology only with the member states. It means we needed the we needed the safeguard from NSG. We needed the safeguard from NSG, so that we also needed the exemption na from NSG कि that वहां भी कुछ ऐसा हो जाए. So what happened in 2008? Ab now we reached to 2008. Now we have good relationship with USA right now. In 2008, Mr. Singh and Mr. Bush is over there. So Mr. Bush said that we are going to support you in NSG. So what happened in 2008? There was meeting of NSG, and from India, the one of the best minister, that was Mr. Pranab Mukherjee. Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, he was very good orator. He was sent to attend the meeting of NSG to represent India in NSG, so that we can have the exemption. So in 2008, Mr. Pranab Mukherjee visited NSG, and he said two things that we have no first use policy, and we have self-imposed moratorium. We have self-imposed moratorium that we are not going to test the nuclear weapon. So at the time, China also became the member of NSG. China became the member of NSG in 2004, and right now in 2008, क्या सिविल पावर, अभी बाद में बात करेंगे उसके बारे में. हाँ, तो at that time in 2005 China became the member of NSG. Right now in 2008 NSG had 45 members. Right now in 2025 NSG have 48 members. We are talking about 2008. NSG have the 45 members. China is the member of NSG right now. Here the secretary of cabinet, Condoleezza Rice, she was supporting, she was lobbying for India, she was supporting India, and she was representing USA that she was sent that anyhow India should get exemption from NSG. Anyhow, this is your responsibility, and Madam Condoleezza Rice, she did the lobbying even when there was voting. अब यहाँ पे क्या था कि for the we needed exemption so that we can get the technology. अब to get the technology without membership, there are two conditions. That you should be signatory of NPT. Another condition that you should allow full scope safeguard. When in India people heard it that we are going to apply in the energy so that we can get the technology. Here in India, people ask question from Mr. Singh that whether we are going to sign the NPT. It means if we are going to sign the NPT, we will be the non-nuclear weapon state. We have to destroy the nuclear weapon. If we are going to allow the full scope safeguard, Then in each and every nuclear site, IAEA will visit, and we will not have the military grade plutonium. So Mr. Manmohan Singh was asked a lot of questions about that. Then Dr. Singh said that this is my problem. We are not going to sign NPT. We are not going to allow full scope safeguard. Still, we will get the exemption from NSG. Then people were like, how? तो मिस्टर सिंह वो ज़्यादा बोलते नहीं थे, है ना, मार्केटिंग करते नहीं थे, तो उन्होंने बोला वी विल गेट इट, ट्रस्ट मी. Then in Seoul, in 2008 meeting, Condoleezza Rice, he was lobbying for India. Even China agreed on 2008, and voting happened. All the 45 members supported India to get the technology without the full scope safeguard, without signing the NPT. It means we became the only country which got the exemption from NSG. Now USA was able to give us the technology, Japan was able to give us the technology, France was able to give us the technology because we got the exemption from NSG. What happened? 2010, we came with the civil liability for the nuclear damage act. Civil liability for the nuclear damage act. And in this civil liability nuclear damage act, there was a clause that operator can sue the supplier for 1500 crore rupees if the accident is because of the latent or patent defect. Now US got irritated because of this clause. US got irritated. Now Mr. Obama became the president. Obama is president over there. What happened in 2011? Kulam protest started. In 2012, chairman of the NSG called the IAEA president. Chairman of NSG called the IAEA president. He please impose the please follow all the instructions strictly that have been given by the NSG, and especially for those countries who are getting technology without the membership. अब उन्होंने बोला स्ट्रिक्ट हो जाओ इसके अगेंस्ट में, उस कंट्री के अगेंस्ट में जो जिसको टेक्नोलॉजी मिल रही है लेकिन वो मेंबर नहीं है. सर एक ही है ऐसा, डायरेक्टली बोलो ना, डायरेक्टली बोलो, मतलब इतना बड़ा सेंटेंस बनाने की क्या जरूरत है. हाँ, अंकल सैम इज लाइक दैट ओनली. अब डेफिनेटली चेयरमैन ऑफ द एनएसजी मस्ट हैव बीन प्रेशराइज्ड बाय अंकल सैम, मिस्टर ओबामा. उनको पता है कि किस तरह से उल्टा सीधा करके काम करना है. मतलब इफ दे आर गुड विथ यू, दे आर वेरी गुड, एंड सडनली दे कैन बिकम वेरी बैड फॉर यू. वो एकदम से छोड़ के भाग जाते हैं. मतलब दे डोंट वेट एट ऑल. वो जैसे ही काम खत्म हुआ वैसे ही दे विल लीव यू. दे डोंट केयर एट ऑल. अब क्या हुआ कि 2012 में, ठीक है, ऑल ऑफ दिस थिंग स्टार्टेड, एनएसजी स्टार्टेड प्रेशराइजिंग अस, IAEA started pressurizing us. So now इन्होंने बोला कि if you want the reprocessing technology, sir, membership of NSG is must. Previously we wanted the exemption. Now this is the quest for the membership of the NSG. अब बेटा in 2015 we came with the Indian Nuclear Insurance Pool. Indian Nuclear Insurance. Ab here 50% will be paid by the government, 50% will be by the insurance companies. Now Uncle Sam don't have to pay anything. That 1500 crore will be paid by the India. Now things became okay. When things became okay, again we become good friends. Uncle Sam is like that only. वो गुस्सा हो जाते हैं तो बहुत देर तक गुस्सा रहते हैं. Now Obama visited again Obama visited Delhi. He became the chief guest of the Republic Day Parade, 26 January 2015. अब उसी साल तुम देखो ये हो रहा है. Obama visited. Obama assured us that we are going to support you for the membership of NSG and we are going to lobby for you for the membership of NSG because USA support of USA is compulsory. रसिया तो करेगा ही करेगा. But if USA will not support us, then entire Europe will not support you. तो सपोर्ट ऑफ यूएसए इज कंपलसरी. पहले उसको बना लो, वो रूठा पहले उसको बना लो. अंकल साहब को मनाना बहुत जरूरी है. अब क्या हुआ कि हमने मना लिया अंकल साहब को. फिर अब हमारे बगल में ईस्टर्न नेबर है ना जिनपिंग. अब जिनपिंग को मनाना पड़ेगा. तो ऑन मई 2015 आई थिंक मोदी वेंट टू मीट द जिनपिंग. ऑन मई 2015 मिस्टर मोदी वेंट देयर. मिस्टर मोदी ने बोला कि देखो in Seoul meeting 2016, in next year in Seoul meeting, we are going to apply for the membership of NSG and please, it is my humble request, it is a request from 140 crore Indians that please support us in the membership of NSG because in the NSG they take decision in the consensus. The decision must be unanimous. सब एक ने भी मना कर दिया तो बात खराब हो गई. तो अब जिनपिंग ने बोला कि अच्छा ठीक है मिस्टर मोदी जी, वी विल सपोर्ट यू. हम तो वैसे बैठे ही इसीलिए थे, हम तो वेट ही कर रहे थे कि कब आप आएंगे और कब हम आपका सपोर्ट करेंगे. उन्होंने बोला लेकिन एक कंडीशन है. देखो मिस्टर मोदी गए वहां पे तो जिनपिंग ने बोला, और जिनपिंग यू कैन कॉल इट चाइना और यू कैन कॉल इट संघाई. तो व्हाट संघाई प्रपोज्ड कि दैट ठीक है वी विल सपोर्ट यू but you have to support Pakistan. You have to lobby for Pakistan and that can never happen. In the politics of India this thing can never happen. This is the death letter of the political career of that prime minister. The day he is going to started the lobbying for Pakistan. अब क्या हुआ, उन्होंने बोला कि ठीक है. फिर जिनपिंग ने बोला कि फॉर दैट वी व्हाट वी विल डू, वी विल हैव टू स्टेप फॉर्मूला. वी विल हैव टू स्टेप फॉर्मूला. यूजिंग दैट टू स्टेप फॉर्मूला द 4 नॉन एनपीटी कंट्रीज. 4 नॉन एनपीटी कौन सा? नॉर्थ कोरिया, इजराइल, पाकिस्तान and India. We will include these 4 non-NPT countries in NSG. हमने बोल और फिर पाकिस्तान का जैसे ही नाम आया. अब देखो यहाँ पे कितने अच्छे अच्छे देश हैं. इजराइल, कहाँ है इजराइल? It is not interested. It is not interested. It don't want the membership of NSG. Second, North Korea. Here we have कौन है? Kim Jong Un, है ना? Kim Jong Un, he is also not interested. Why? He is a dictator. If he will get the membership of NSG, he will have the nuclear reactors. Then there will be cheap electricity. Then what will happen? Cheap electricity production will be more. Then people will have some knowledge, है ना? People will have some development. And the dictators, they never want the development beyond a certain level. Because if you, अब तुम बहुत गरीब गुरबा हो तो तुम्हारे सवाल ही नहीं होंगे ना. तुम कुछ पूछोगे नहीं. मैं आऊं तुम्हारे रोज झापड़ मारूं, तुम बोलोगे हाँ वो तो साहब है, वो तो रोज मारते हैं, मेरे तो काम है मार खाना. लेकिन इफ यू आर डेवलप्ड अ लिटिल बिट, फिर मैंने मारा, फिर तुम पूछोगे तो आप क्यों मारा, फिर तुम पूछो क्यों मारा, फिर तुम पूछोगे तुम और थोड़ा डेवलप हुए, फिर मैंने मारा, तो तुम मेरा हाथ पकड़ लोगे, है ना? तो डिक्टेटर्स आर लाइक दैट ओनली. They don't want development beyond a certain level, because when there will be development beyond a certain level, you will have the aspiration. When you will have the aspiration, you will have the question. You will question about your rights, and when this thing will happen, his regime will be in danger. They will try to overthrow him. So he is also not interested. This person is quite interested. This person is quite interested. This person is interested. That is there. But as soon as the name was there, entire Europe opposed it. This person have the worst record in the nuclear proliferation. कैसे 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 अब हुआ क्या था? When they were making bomb, and at the time of when Mr. Zia Hulak was there, they started doing something. Abdul Qadir Khan Pakistan आ गए थे. They started making bomb and they started planning. So they talked with France कि हमको एक काम करो, you give us the reprocessing technology, you build a reprocessing reactor in Pakistan so that we can have the plutonium and we will have the implosion device, plutonium bomb. Then India tested the nuclear weapon. अब because India tested the nuclear weapon, अब फिर उनको लगा कि ये पाकिस्तानी बना लेगा, चाइना के पास भी इतना सारा न्यूक्लियर वेपन हो जाएगा. तो यूएसए प्रेशराइज्ड पाकिस्तान, यूएसए प्रेशराइज्ड फ्रांस. You are not going to give him plutonium reprocessing faculty. No, you are not going to give him. क्योंकि अभी रसिया का इनकर्जन नहीं हुआ है, 1979 नहीं आया है. तो यूएसए डिड नॉट नीड पाकिस्तान फॉर एनीथिंग. यूएसए ने फ्रांस को प्रेशराइज किया. फ्रांस ने मना कर दिया कि दैट वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू गिव यू द प्लूटोनियम रिप्रोसेसिंग डिवाइस. अब वो तो प्लान फेल हो गया. फिर अब्दुल कादिर खान आ गया यहाँ पे. Then comes the Abdul Qadir Khan. He stole the technology from the West. For the uranium bomb, he stole the technology from the West and he developed the nuclear weapon here. अब यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? 1979. Then you will see that there was incursion of Russia in Afghanistan. अब now USA needed Pakistan like anything. अब there was a thing that if president of the USA certifies that this country neither possesses the nuclear weapon nor is trying to make the nuclear weapon to the Congress, then they can give the help. CIA को पता है, FBI को पता है, सबको पता है कि they are trying to possess the nuclear weapon. They are doing anything. काउटा में उन्होंने पूरी फैसिलिटी बना ली यूरेनियम इनरिचमेंट की. किराना हिल्स में इन्होंने फिर वेपन टेस्ट भी किया. किराना हिल्स में they were doing the coal test in the 1980s. So each and everyone knows. But if president certifies that in the Congress, president have to certify that this country neither have the nuclear weapon nor trying to possess the nuclear weapon, then Congress have to agree and then USA can give the aid, arms and ammunition and aid to that country. Up till the 1991, they gave the certification in the Congress. और जैसे ही यूएसएसआर का डिसइंटीग्रेशन हुआ, they went back from Afghanistan. Then again, requirement of the Pakistan finished. Next year, George Bush Senior, he did not give the certification, and by the next year, it stopped. अब फिर क्या हुआ? अब ये कैसे बनाए न्यूक्लियर वेपन? फिर एक तरफ से चाइना आया. चाइना ने जो लो फ्लूर पे टेस्ट किया था 596 50 किलोटन डिवाइस, China gave that design to Pakistan. China gave uranium to Pakistan, enriched uranium to Pakistan, weapon grade uranium to Pakistan, and also the enrichment facilities was given by China. China ने किया यहाँ पे proliferation. अब क्या हुआ? पाकिस्तान के पास डिवाइस आ गई, वेपन आ गया. अब पाकिस्तान के पास मिसाइल नहीं थी. अब रसिया ने मिसाइल्स दी थी किसको? इसको, नॉर्थ कोरिया को. स्कड मिसाइल से इसने अपनी बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल बनाई. अब पाकिस्तान नीडेड मिसाइल्स, लेकिन चाइना मना कर रहा था. चाइना नहीं दे रहा था मिसाइल्स, बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल्स, बिकॉज चाइना ने अप्लाई कर दिया था MTCR के लिए. चाइना वॉज नॉट गिविंग हिम द बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल्स, तो ही ट्रेडेड विथ नॉर्थ कोरिया. अब ये काम कौन कर रहा है? अब्दुल कादिर खान. दिस वर्क इज बीइंग डन बाय अब्दुल कादिर खान कि यू गिव अस द डिजाइन ऑफ बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल, वी विल गिव यू the entire design of nuclear weapon. So Chinese nuclear weapon design was transferred to North Korea by Pakistani Mr. Abdul Qadir Khan, and this North Korea transferred the missile technology to Pakistan, ballistic missile technology, and the Gauri missile of Pakistan is based on this first missile of North Korea. So they are completely engaged in the nuclear proliferation, illegal smuggling of the nuclear weapon and nuclear टेक्नोलॉजी. तो पूरे यूरोप ने बोला इसको तो नहीं, इसको तो दे ही नहीं सकते हैं एनएसजी की मेंबरशिप. अब जब ऐसा हुआ फिर वोटिंग हुई इन सियोल, देयर वाज वोटिंग. चाइना एंड 9 others they voted against us. उनने हमें वोट नहीं दिया and we did not become the member of NSG. Now what is the reason why China is opposing us? What can be the reason why China is opposing us? Why China don't want us to become the member of NSG? Why China don't want this, that we should become the member of NSG? Because we will not let Pakistan become the member of NSG. So China have some problems. Like when Mr. Xi Jinping came to the power, and before some time he amended the constitution, and he became the president for life. Mr. Jinping became the president for life. Up now, what is the vision of Mr. Jinping in the Republic of China, in the People's Republic of China, when this Mao Zedong, he became the ruler of China, he became the president of China. So Mao Zedong became the biggest political figure. He became the biggest political figure in the politics of China after 1949. Then comes in 1979 Mr. Deng Xiaoping. Deng Xiaoping liberalized the Chinese economy. Because of that we can see that China has the $20 trillion of the economy, because Deng Xiaoping liberalized the economy. So he becomes the second biggest political figure in the history of China, in the modern history of China. And now Jinping what wants? He wants to become the biggest political figure in the history of China. Now how he can do it? How he will do it? Firstly, he amended the constitution and became the president for life. Now there was a project of China, this One Belt One Road. He changed this project in Belt and Road Initiative. Up now in this Belt and Road Initiative, here in Ambantota, in Bangladesh, in Myanmar, in Maldives, in Djibouti, in Gwadar, these are some ports. Before these ports, here we have some ports. Then from Xinjiang to Gwadar, we have the CPEC, China Pakistan Economic Corridor. And with CPEC and in the BRI, China is investing trillions of dollars. And with CPEC, China want to transform the economy of Pakistan. This is the idea of China, that I will transform the economy of Pakistan and it will become the model corridor for BRI, for Belt and Road Initiative. Then if the economy of इस चीज का impact समझो, if economy of Pakistan can be transformed, then economy of anywhere in the world can be transformed. जिस स्टेज में पाकिस्तान की इकोनॉमी है, and this will become the model corridor for entire world. And now each and everyone will come and join the BRI, Belt and Road Initiative. We have the 6 corridors and CPEC is one of them. Now here the catch is that how this CPEC will become successful. For that they need the cheap energy. Cheap energy कहाँ से आएगी? Cheap energy nuclear से आएगी. For that Pakistan asked that, sir, give us 32 nuclear reactors. तो इसको पाकिस्तान को चाइना ने जब देना था तब 1992 में दे दिए थे, लेकिन बचे 30, कहां से आएगी सस्ती इलेक्ट्रिसिटी? अब 30 के लिए इसको चाहिए एनएससी मेंबरशिप. पाकिस्तान requires the membership of NSC. Without the membership of NSC, Pakistan cannot get 30 more nuclear reactors. Ab now, using the BRI, Mr. Jinping want to control 80% of the world's GDP. If BRI becomes successful, this is the dream of China. That using the BRI, I will control the 80% of the world's economy, world's GDP. And if China controls 80% of the world's GDP, if BRI becomes successful, and now you are doing the evaluation of Mr. Jinping tenure in 2050, suppose, and China is controlling 80% of the world's GDP, CPEC becomes successful, then Jinping will become the tallest figure in the political history of China, because इसके पहले चाइना ने इतना वर्ल्ड को कभी कंट्रोल ही नहीं किया. For that, पाकिस्तान मस्ट बी मेंबर ऑफ एनएसजी, नहीं तो जब मॉडल कॉरिडोर ही नहीं कंप्लीट होगा. एंड इवन इन द सीपेक वी हैव सीन द प्रोटेस्ट दैट आर गोइंग ऑन इन पाकिस्तान इटसेल्फ. अब if we will become the member of NSG, then we will never support the Pakistan in the membership of NSG. So that is why China said कि आप support करो पाकिस्तान का, हम support करेंगे आपका. And that is not going to happen. So this was the idea of China, and China opposed it. And now the problem is that the membership of NSG for India, it has become one of the prestige issue of the prestige, one of the Herculean task. The problem is that अब हमने बोला कि क्या कर सकते हैं, how we can get the membership of NSG. So that is very difficult. Reason being that if you want to isolate China in NSG, how many members are there in NSG? 48. Right now 48 members. If you want to isolate China in NSG, then how you will isolate? फिर you will say कि that एक काम करो, ग्रुपिंग बना लो लाइक माइंडेड कंट्रीज की, लाइक यूएसए, जापान, यूरोप, ठीक है. But that thing will also not work now. After BRI, that thing also not work. Why it will not work? Out of these 40 are the members of BRI. Out of these 48, 40 are the members of BRI. अब ऐसा तो होगा नहीं सुबह नाश्ता करें जिनपिंग के साथ और शाम को तुम्हारा सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं. इट विल बी डिफिकल्ट ना, शाम को जिनपिंग के लिए बोलना नहीं दैट BRI इज नॉट गुड, है ना. So that is not going to happen. अब क्या कर सकते हैं? Now we can have the bilateral relations. We can develop our own technology, or we can persuade. We can China. If we can persuade, we have to persuade China in the diplomacy. We have to do that. So this is one of the biggest issue. This is one of the biggest problem that we are not getting the membership of NSG. अब now, why we want the membership of NSG? Why we want the membership of NSG? पहली चीज क्या फायदा होगा? If we will become the member of NSG, we will get the technology, cutting edge technology. We will get the cutting edge technology like ENR, enrichment and reprocessing technology, advanced enrichment and reprocessing technology. For that, USA, France, Russia said that get the membership of NSG. We will get that. Second, we will get the advanced reactors. Third, there will be no opposition of the supply of the fuel. Like Namibia always says either get the membership of NSC or sign the NPT, then only I will give you the fuel. New Zealand always say that. So we will have the supply of fuel. These are certain things. And yes, obviously we will be able to achieve our net zero goals by 2070. Fourth, net zero. Fifth, 100 gigawatt by 2047. These are certain regions. And those other regions that we will become the global powerhouse of the world, that is also there. तो जो हमने चार्ट बनाया था ना, that will also work. अब now who can become the member of NSG? There are certain conditions to become the member of NSG. नहीं है क्या? चलो शायद नहीं. चलो मैं बता देता हूँ. There are certain conditions. Firstly, conditions. First is that you should have the capability to export the nuclear technology. Capability. इस चीज की, to export the nuclear technology. Second, you should have very good record against the proliferation that India have. Then third, you should have internal mechanism to prevent the proliferation. Fourth, that either sign the NPT or sign the treaty on the nuclear weapon free zone. Nuclear weapon free zone. Either sign the NPT or sign the nuclear weapon zone free treaty. These are certain treaty, 5 treaties. उनमें से एक साइन करो या तो NPT साइन करो. These are certain conditions. And we are not only the signatory of this. We have the capability to export the technology. We have the very good record against the proliferation. We have very good internal mechanism to prevent the proliferation. So this is, and this is the your performance based assessment, that how you have performed. And this signature in the NPT and either sign the treaty on the nuclear weapon free zone, this is criteria based assessment. So we support the performance based assessment, and China says that we should have the criteria based assessment, क्योंकि performance based में तो उनका खुद का खराब है. उन्होंने खुद न्यूक्लियर टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोलिफरेट की है पाकिस्तान को. So this was all about the NSG. Next topic is क्या था? न्यूक्लियर डॉक्ट्राइन ऑफ इंडिया. तो डॉक्ट्राइन कल करते हैं ना, ठीक है. चलो, तो काफी हो गया है. कल करते हैं डॉक्ट्राइन. चलो, थैंक यू वेरी मच.